Good.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start. Just want to say first of all, just really touching speech and everything that you had to say at the service on Sunday. Specifically, this one point where you know how all the wide receivers stand up and acknowledge them. Just wanted to ask. You guys had the wide receiver meeting today. Just what was that like? And
today was a work day, so we really didn't talk about it. Obviously Tylee's always with us, so I think Chris Culliver wore his jersey today at practice, so they're doing that on their own where they're passing it around. So didn't mention it, obviously. Tylee's name will pop up every now and then, but today was just a work day, and sort of let them get away from it for a day, from Sunday, yesterday, and then today. But the move was good, and we know that he would be, if he was in that meeting room, he'd be telling them to come on, or out there in practice telling them to move on. So that's what was going on today.
What are the first two things that come to mind when someone says Tylee Craft's name?
Just a great young man, and a person that gave everything he had for the last 2.5 years. Quiet, self-motivated, wanted to work, wanted to please. Just a tremendous person to where he understood what he needed to do and how to do it and how to carry himself. So, you couldn't ask for anything else. He had a plan and he had a vision on what he thought his college life should be. Come here and get his degree, which he accomplished, and have a chance to play big-time college football.
Can you take us through your relationship with him the last 2.5 years, really, since he was diagnosed, but maybe more so the last year leading up to here recently, just kind of how your relationship grew and what were some of the things that you guys kind of talked about or did that maybe wasn't football related?
Always letting him know that I was there for him and myself and my wife, and just being able to, see him work every day, motivated me, and I would use that with our guys. And, Tylee would go take chemo and radiation and then, be at meetings. Tylee would go to class, be mad when he didn't, he was late from going to, get his treatment, being late to having to go take an exam. We talked about a lot of things as far as, just he's a Jets fan, I'm a Steelers fan, those things. And just letting him know that, I was there for him all the time. He never really, we never really talked about the disease, because you didn't know. If you didn't know he had it, you wouldn't know he had it. So it was one of those things to where, I'd always check on him and see him. You good? Yes, sir, I'm good. Anything you need? No. I'll see you at practice. Coach, I won't be here at practice this morning. So, it was when I didn't treat him any differently, in that aspect of it, because I wanted him to feel like, he was part of the team, but no different than any of the rest of them. So, it wasn't one of those things where we, talked about it, a lot.
Is there something specific that Tylee said to you during your relationship, or something that's special that stands out that you'll always kind of remember?
Just for me to be myself with the guys, and sometimes I feel like I could be a little strong on them. He's like, "Oh, no, coach, they need it. We need it." So I would get some confirmation sometimes with like, "You think I was too hard on him?" He's like, "No, coach." So he was a good person to ask those questions, because he knew how I am, and he knows how I am, and as far as what I expect in practice and those things. So I'd be like, "Tylee, was I too hard on him today?" And like, no. I just want to let y'all know also, Coach Elliott, at the University of Virginia has approved to, for his guys to wear the 13 on the back of the helmet. So that's really.
So Virginia's going to wear it?
Yes, really special for them to do, especially what they went through a couple of years ago.
And just really quick, is that something that you discussed, or did somebody kind of push for that, or like how did that come?
That would be a Jeremy question.
They reached out to our equipment people to see if they could get a bunch of stickers and whatnot. And so obviously that was a shirt, and then we just found out that it was all good, and so on. let Lonnie tell you about it.
It's cool. Lonnie, at the end, when it wasn't looking good for Tylee, and you all were going over to see him, and I guess as much as you could while you're still trying to get ready to play football games, like what types of things were y'all talking about then? Was it any different than what you all normally talk about? Were there certain things you were wanting to tell him, knowing that it might be the end?
No different. I mean, you know, because, you know, he was around a lot, so, you know, it was no different when, you know, they admitted him to the hospital, you know, that, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. It was no different than, you know, besides going over there, checking on him, messing with him, you know, joking, you know, just to, you know, keep his spirits up. And, you know, the thing for him was, you know, even though he was, you know, lying there in bed, it was, you know, he was still Tylee. You know, I told him the Jets were going to lose to the Steelers, which they did.
I was gonna say you got right.
Yeah, and, you know, I know he knows that, but, you know, no different, you know, for the guys. You know, we just wanted to make sure that, you know, that he was, you know, comforted by people that loved him. And, I mean, and, you know, the guys love him. You know, this community loves him, you know. The world loves him, you know, all the news that covered, you know, what he meant for the school and what the school meant for him, making sure that he received the things that he needed and his mom received, you know, the things that she needed for the family. And, you know, as corny as it sounds, you know, this, you know, college is 4 years, but, you know, if you're at the right places, you know, the 4 years turned into 40. And, you know, that's one of the things that we told him, because Brown and I told him when we went down there 5 years ago, you know, with Coach Barnes at Sumter, that, you know, we won't give you a chance to play. You know, it was coming up on his red shirt. I mean, he had red shirt his freshman year, going through spring ball, you know, gonna get your degree, you know, so, and we're gonna take care of you for 40 years. I mean, and that's what, after he got sick, you know, the people around this community, around this university, you know, with Coach Brown's push, you know, took care of him. You know, Miss Sally, you know, my wife, you know, took care of him and his family to where they knew that no matter what, that they would be taken care of. And that's what you want when you're, you know, sending your child off to college. You know, it's the football game. Football games are important, but at the end of the day, who are you sending your child to? You know, and we showed that family that we would take care of him. We'd take care of them all, but, you know, in this time, you know, it really allowed us to show what decisions you make in picking universities are decisions that you need to make them for. You know, the right reasons to go to that university. And obviously, you know, football is a part of it, but, you know, who am I going to, you know, lead my son to take care of him?
Lonnie, what does it mean to you that now, for years and years, UNC football players, whenever they pass by the nutrition room, they're going to see Tylee's name, they're going to learn about him from the plaque that's going to be put up there?
Just, you know, the hard work that, you know, he strived to do while he was here, the way he carried himself around the university, the dedication, you know, motivation that he gave us all. You know, he was a kid to where, you know, he would do just about anything that he could do to, you know, help us, you know, help the room, help the team, you know, by just carrying himself as a 23-year-old man that dealing with something that he knew he had other things to do, you know, his chemo, his treatment, his classwork, you know, so being able to separate his distractions, which were huge distractions, to be able to accomplish his goals that he set out, and that was to get his degree.
Lonnie, you talked a little bit about what it was like, you know, having him, you know, around on the field, you know, kind of talking with him, practice, things like that. Obviously, he became a student coach, you know, I think it was like in July, and he had been at practice and things like that already, but what was he like as a coach? Like, what was it like with him kind of interacting with those other receivers as, you know, going through drills and
I mean, Tyler would always, you know, give his opinion to him, you know, dip your shoulder, use your hands, you know, wrong step, those things. So, you know, they respected him and, you know, we always look for him, you know, on game days, you know, we do a couple little drills and, you know, the very last one, he would be on, you know, as the defender, you know, making them use their hands and stuff like that. So, you know, he would have been a good coach. You know, he would have been a real good coach.
What What's just the biggest thing that you took from him in terms of life lessons or just leadership lessons that you apply as a coach?
I mean, there's a lot, Tylee's, impressions that he left upon me was, always go out and work hard, no matter what. And, try to find the right answers for the guys. Be the leader, for the room, and, pushing, them pushing themselves, them pushing me to make sure I'm on top of my game. So, and then being able to handle, distractions, being able to handle distractions because he did. I mean, he handled a huge distraction. And, with sports, you're in the football building for 2.5 hours and come back for meetings, but then you got to go to class and then you got families and stuff to deal with. But being able to separate, when it's time to go to work, it's time to go to work. And then knowing that, Tylee always knew, once he left the football field, he had to go to class, he had to do his treatment. He knew that distraction was there, so he could put it in situations to where, for me using it with my guys, hey, we're at practice, make sure we're focused on practice. And that's what has helped me in helping the guys be able to deal with, being able to do all the things that you want to do, the right way.
Adam, last one.
Thank you. Lonnie, what about Coach JJ? What was it like when JJ came up with the idea to wear the 13 against Georgia Tech? I mean, it sounded from Mac like it was a pretty emotional moment for you, maybe, or just like what was that whole process? And were you like, were you surprised? Were you, I'd been thinking about it, and then someone had talked to. I called Kat, who's over in academics, and she said that some of them had talked about it. So I called Miss September and asked, and then I called JJ's mom and asked her if it would be okay. And then Miss September, all she said was, I want to make sure I see 13 go in the end zone. So I told JJ that. But it was huge for him to be able to, do that for him to wear that jersey. And, it was great to see it go across the end zone, with his name on the back. So was that your idea?
I had thought about it.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know who came up with the idea.
I mean, JJ wanted to. I just wanted to make sure it was clear and, ask Coach Brown if that was okay. And Coach Brown thought that would be great. And, because I didn't want to make one of them wear it. But they all wanted to do it. So I picked JJ because, it was the oldest and, being from South Carolina. Yeah. And my sound like this because I got a cold, so.
You sound great.
Do you guys wear that this week?
To be determined.
We'll have the binoculars out. Unless you want to.
What do you do? Are you gonna maybe who has a good week of practice?
I just gotta talk to him.
Yeah.
I talk to him.